You don't need to be the smartest person in the room if you want to be the most successful. You just need to pay attention to what hits the freaking bank account.
What are some other reasons you think that people that are too smart stay kind of broke or don't see too much success?
They want to be the king. If you want to be the king, it's a very lonely table that you'll be at. If you stop growing, you're dying. The minute you stop growing in this world, your organism starts to decay, your brain starts to decay.
When I started entrepreneurship,
the rules of wealth are different than the rules of math. A lot of the smartest people in the world, they don't understand the 4 quadrants of business, which is the employee quadrant, the sole proprietor quadrant, the business owner quadrant, the investor quadrant. As I've gotten more successful in business, it's because we've adopted the principle of working with leverage.
when we meet our representatives and we meet them in a hotel setting or a blitz setting or a sales environment setting, our job always is to edify and promote the leaders in the company that work with us, the people that are excelling, the people that are growing. We're not there to go brag about ourselves.
I think the smartest people understand that they need help from other people.
Yes.
And that you need assistance. That's true intellect to me. Why do smart people that you know and that I know are sometimes some of the most broke people?
Sheesh, that's a funny topic. No, we come across a lot of people often. We're like, wow, this guy is really smart. Wow, this guy's really like brilliant.
Or that fake smart lady with the glasses that you thought was smart.
No, that was a different story. She probably will have more success than some of these smart people we're about to talk
That's
about.
hilarious.
But I mean, I'll tell a little story about my past. Is like when I first was going through school, and let's say I was at the top of the class. If I got like 100 in like middle school, or I felt good. I was like, yo, this is awesome. I'm in like top 5 kids in the class.
Walking with your chest puffed out.
Yeah. And then like we got to college and I was like, sheesh, there's a bunch of fucking kids that are way smarter than me. Here in college, I am not the smartest one. I got a freaking 2.9. And I was like, you know, you could compete and be the boss.
Well,
and
you
like,
were working full time too. You had a lot of responsibility.
no, I understand. But then I did come across all these kids that were really smart in my econ classes. This dude we had Vanguard, I remember. It was huge because in college, everyone wants to get a good job. So we had Vanguard come to our econ class and make a promise that they would hire one person for a full-time position out of my class. There's only 8 kids in the class. So I was like, wow, I was gunning for it myself. Everyone's gunning for it. Like
Gunning
you come
for the
out,
Vanguard?
you're like considered an entry-level analyst. It's like 60, 70K a year, but you have an infinite path of progression up the Vanguard ladder.
Up the Vanguard pyramid?
Yeah. So anyway, I was like, this is great. Like I was studying like stocks, hedge funds, this and that. And it's exactly that position is like studying, analyzing stocks and all that stuff.
Wow.
So I looked the other day, a month ago, I looked on LinkedIn. I said, let me see where all these smart kids are up to from those classes.
Where did
I wanted
they
to
end
see
up?
what they're. So one dude, that kid is still at Vanguard that won the position. I was so pissed. I remember when he won, and I was like, this guy's like, he's like a nerd, and like he couldn't present, and like he was book smart, but he wasn't verbally communicatively like good. And like now he's in the same position. I looked at it, salary maybe $140, something like that.
Good for him.
Good for him. He's doing good in New Jersey. Then there's some other people. Some people are doing different jobs every 3 years, you know. So anyway, not to get too off topic, I'm not here to compare. Then some person's extremely successful. Let's say this one dude is like in private equity with like some kind of family hedge fund, not his family, but some small family one where he's got a big position.
Oh, nice. Good for him.
So some people are very successful, some people aren't. And I remember one of those people in those classes was too smart for everything. I always use that phrase, too smart, because I think there's a level of smartness or like, let's say level of intelligence, smartness sounds funny, that if people get to a specific level of intelligence, they start to get more pessimistic and look at the
Their
world in a different way.
EQ goes down a little bit.
Yeah, EQ, but like their pessimism goes up where they are like, they think of all the things that could go wrong, all the things that could fail, all the things that would be barriers to entry, kind of like what we spoke about earlier. But
on the previous podcast, yeah.
Yeah, they don't have like the childlike creativity or dream.
Okay.
And they lose that.
They lose that dreaming.
They lose that dreaming. They become too realist.
Too much of a realist.
Like if I can't see, touch, feel it, it's not real. So what I mean to say is the smarter people I've come across, now let's say the opposite of the spectrum, let's say is Elon Musk, who's extremely smart, but he didn't lose a childlike creativity. He didn't lose the fucking around, hanging out. He still plays video games, by the way. He live streams him playing video games, and he's the richest man in the world.
Wow.
So like he's literally killing it, but he still has the childlike imagination, rocket ships, doing whatever people do. So like what I mean to say is I personally believe that no matter how intelligent people get, they shouldn't forget that childlike dreaming, that childlike playing, that childlike hanging out, because that kind of allows you to take risks more so than being so risk averse because you feel like you know everything. But what are some of the experiences you've come across with people?
No, it's a really good points that you brought up there. Makes me think of being in a fraternity in college. We were in the same fraternity. And the best thing was having sometimes pledges would be in the same class as you. Or we'd be in classes with like other younger brothers, or people would end up being in the same class. And I never got more excited than when I found out that other people, either a pledge or someone that is in our fraternity or in a friendly fraternity, is in the same class as me, because I knew I never had to freaking show up to that class because somebody else was going to sign my name in. I was going to have all the answers to the test.
That's funny.
And I was going to have all the homework. Now, does that make me stupid?
No.
Or does that make me smart? Because I wouldn't
say, yeah.
Other people were doing the work, right? Many hands make light work. And sometimes when I was younger, I was the one going to the class and I was signing somebody else in. So, what kind of goes around comes around. And what I realized at that stage of my life was that just because you're smart doesn't mean you'll make a lot of money, or you have to do everything with your own effort.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the smartest people in the world, they don't understand the 4 quadrants of business, which is the employee quadrant, the sole proprietor quadrant, the business owner quadrant, the investor quadrant.
Yep.
Many really smart people get stuck in the E quadrant or the S quadrant.
Correct.
Where they have no leverage.
Exactly.
It's only their money, only their time. As I've gotten more successful in business, it's because we've adopted the principle of working with leverage, other people's time.
Correct.
Or other people's capital. Now, not in a bad way, not taking advantage of people, creating a business, giving a fair offer, combining resources and getting an end result together. I think a lot of people that think they're the smartest person think that they can do this better than anybody else.
That's
and not
the
just,
biggest problem.
Even in sales, a lot of people like this. I was like this for a while, thinking I was the best salesperson. No one can sell as well as me. Well, guess what? No one is going to sell as well as you. And you're going to be stuck doing all the damn work, taking all the calls, dealing with all the BS, all the customers, everything. It's like, well, if they could do it 80% as good as me, let me pass and delegate responsibility to somebody else and not important. Feel like I have to be the smartest guy in the room.
Yep.
That's another thing too in leadership. You don't want to feel, or people to feel, that you think you're the smartest guy in the room.
100%.
Because people don't like a know-it-all. And then also on top of that, people don't want to like dive in and put their heads towards something because they feel like you have all the answers. So they don't come up with as many ideas. So when you learn to lift up other people and you work collectively as a unit, typically it's people that are smart, but maybe not the highest level of IQ, like that grade below, like
Correct.
tier 2 out of like 10 tiers that oftentimes do the best or make the most. Because like, people in my extended family were like, this guy's like a lazy idiot. No, like I just understood the power of leverage. I wanted other people to be doing the work besides just me, and wanted to, use my time in a more efficient way. And that's how you actually get wealthy. The rules of wealth are different than the rules of math.
100%. They have that phrase. They always say that A and B students work for the C and D students. And there's a reason why, is because hey, if you cookie cutter A to Z, know how to do everything very well, it's in business. I've seen it too many times with leaders. You literally said it. Find someone and teach them how to do what you do, even if it's 10% as good as you, 20% as good as you, to get your time back. You know, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you have a lid. I don't, when we meet our representatives and we meet them in a hotel setting or a blitz setting or a sales environment setting, you know, our job always is to edify and promote the leaders in the company that work with us, the people that are excelling, the people that are growing. We're not there to go brag about ourselves or anything. We share a little bit of our story. We share a little bit of motivation and a little bit of sales training, let's say. But we don't go there to tell people we're better than them. We go there, we go there and we edify someone who's created an X level of success so everyone else can see, and we can say, this guy worked hard and he got to 40 grand a month income. And you can too, if you do what this gentleman does. I have never been one to personally say that I know more than people at door knocking, or let's say if it's solar related or this or that. I'd be the first one to say I'm not the best at this, but this guy is the best one at this. And I had to make that shift as well. I always wanted to be the best closer, the best this, the best that. But once you reach that position, you realize in leadership, you need duplication. And to grow a business, you need duplication, and you need to be willing to allow someone else to be better than you at something, or find people that know things that you don't and align with them. There's so many people in our business that are very good at recruiting, just as good as us. Some could be better. There's people at our business that are way better with realization rate and pull-through rates than we were when we were closing. There's people in our organization that are better at setting an appointment than we are. It doesn't make us jealous. When we find that person, we edify that person, we promote that person, we make them an example, and we allow people to learn from that. And
100%.
That's very important in leadership. But what are some other reasons you think that people that are too smart stay kind of broke or don't see too much success?
They want to be the king. If you want to be the king, it's a very lonely table that you'll be at. You want to be the kingmaker. You want to be the person that edifies and brings up other people.
What about an employee? Not even a guy in business.
Yeah, so let's say an
really smart family member,
not a problem. So someone that's an employee that thinks they're the smartest at their role, well, most people probably don't like them that work with them because they're probably a little jealous, or they think that the person's conceited. And then that stops them from career advancement because it's a who do you know type of world that we live in. Relationships matter. And people will get passed up for promotions even if they're the right person for the job because they don't have the right connections or the right relationships with that person that's making that decision.
Correct.
Or the collective organization that works in that office. So I think having that personality, like one of the reasons why I think I moved up so fast when I was doing a W-2 job in the software sales space, I was like a sales development rep in the office making cold calls for like just about a year. And then this guy that was a VP got fired, but I was always making friends with everybody in the office. There was another guy that was just as good at sales as me. His name is Bert. Really good guy. Cool. Bert, if you're watching this, hope you're doing well. He works at another software company now. We were like neck and neck.
Okay.
Top every single month. The difference is I was more social with people and I had more, he was not like antisocial or mean or anything, but I was more like chumming it up with everybody around the office, how to win friends and influence people. So I ended up getting promoted into that position where they fired the VP, gave me his job. I started working remote. I was also the youngest guy on the team of all the SDRs. And boom, I'm working from home, making twice as much money. And this guy ended up getting promoted to some other position later, but it wasn't as good of a role. I ended up getting more fortunate. It's not that I was better than him at sales. I had just built better relationships.
Absolutely.
And was seen as a better fit for the next step. Because a lot of people, when they think of their job, they're like, I'm the best at my job, therefore I should get promoted. That doesn't make sense. If you're the best at your job, they're going to keep you in your job. When they're thinking of who's the best to promote, they're going to promote the person that would be fitting the next role. And the person that's fitting the next role typically is someone that's going to be good with people.
Correct.
And if you think you're the smartest person and you're arrogant, you're usually not that good with people. Just that's really simple.
There's a lot of how to win friends and influence that happens with
W-2s, for
with
sure.
W-2s, but what happened? It's the book that people that think that they're too smart, that get stuck in life, should read and implement into their life, is what I was trying to get at with.
For
They
sure.
need to read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Because even, when I was younger, it's you learn as you grow, right? When I'm 16, 17, if you're hanging out with some people, let's say there's a new kid that moved from a different town, okay? And he came to school, and you have a friends group, and you're like, hey, let's all play, basketball together. Awesome. So you're nice to him. He comes, we play basketball. Let's say you got bullied a little in school that day. You play basketball, and then at the end, everyone's sipping Gatorade, and then this guy tells a story of him playing basketball at another school or something, right? And it's his glory story. Like, he killed it. He got 3 3-pointers in a row. They won the game, right? Now, the smartest guy in the room might have the thought process in his mind to one-up that story. Let me just drop a better story. Let me tell him my best story.
I dropped 4
3-pointers. So that emotional intelligence for those people that have created success and leadership know in that scenario is to let this guy have his moment of glory and let this gentleman feel happy. I'm happy for him. My goal is not to compete with him and tell my story. I might say a different story that has nothing related to do with this, but I want to keep it that way. Or if someone does something wrong, rather than publicly saying something to them, maybe coaching them one-on-one, rather than looking smart in front of everyone or embarrassing somebody in public. Some of these people that think they're very smart have these tendencies, and they tend to do those things, but they don't think of exactly what you're saying is the emotional intelligence side of it. So and it's not their fault. It's not your fault if you're one of those people that have an ADHD, correct people mindset, or has to be done X, Y, Z. I'm sure that your level of ADHD of things needing to be clean or this or that is
you just gotta learn to shut that part of your brain off.
Correct.
Most people piss me the fuck off.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think most people are lazy, sloppy. I gotta be honest. I said, sometimes it angers me just looking at some of these slobs. It's the way people do stuff. The way people do stuff and carry themselves, it does piss me off. But I've learned to keep it to myself.
Yep.
Because it's not going to help the situation.
Nah.
And who the heck am I to throw stones living in a glass house? There's things I can work on. There's things that I can improve.
100%.
Another thing that smart people do is they think that they know it all. Yep. So they don't want to get any better.
Correct.
We had this
That's so true.
They're like, I don't want to get any better. I'm already as high as I could possibly go, as good as I could possibly be. Well, guess what? If you stop growing, you're dying. The minute you stop growing in this world, your organism starts to decay, your brain starts to decay, you peak, you hit your peak. It's like the people that thought they peaked in high school.
Yep.
And all they ever talk about is high school. It's the same thing with the smart people. Yep. The smartest people. I think the smartest people understand that they need help from other people.
Yes.
And that you need assistance. That's true intellect to me, because yes, someone can sit down and get a better score on a standardized test, but can they actually create a business or create a result or create a sports team or create a movement or create a band or create something that actually creates significance in this world besides just memorizing random facts? Because that's what IQ is at the end of the day. Intelligence, quotient or something like that, is what it stands for. And it means how good is your brain at remembering these specific things that you're taught? With ChatGPT and stuff like that nowadays, different types of AI, you don't even need to be the best at learning all this different information.
No, you don't.
You just need to be the best at working together with people and coming up with ideas. Creativity and people development, that is the two things that equate to success, I think, in today's world that we live in now.
And constantly either seeking or asking or be willing to take corrective feedback and advice. There's a lot of people that don't take it too well. Sometimes I've come across, I'm guilty as one of them as well in the beginning, where when I started entrepreneurship, I got very defensive with feedback. If someone gave me feedback, I personally felt that they were attacking me, and I'm I'm trying to defend each point of feedback. And then I said, why am I trying to defend? I don't really care, if I win this argument of feedback, it's not going to change my life.
Sure.
What's going to change my life is listening to the feedback, thinking of scenarios where that person was perfectly correct, and then trying to implement corrections moving forward so that I can get better as a person. And people sometimes, I was very defensive. And let's say if someone said, hey, listen, someone told me this. I still remember this. This is feedback where it pissed me off. And this was a counselor in college before we went to the Washington Center.
That Spanish dude?
That Spanish dude.
Yeah, I remember him.
And I cut, he reminded me, how do I reach these kids? He looked exactly like that professor. And like, I cut him off while he was speaking like 2 different times. And it was just me and him in a room. And like, he was like, Hersh, like you can't like cut people off when they're speaking. He's like, that's not, like kind. It's not how you like grow as a person. And like,
he caught up with you?
He caught up with me, told me that. It was just me and him in an office and I cut him off twice. And he's like, you have to let people finish speaking. And I was thinking in my head and I was like, this guy is right. And I'm like, this guy's totally right with what he's saying. But at that time I was like so excited and I wanted to say what I wanted to say and I didn't want to listen. And like, it's just an example where I remember that when I got that feedback, I was kind of pissed. And I was like, why is this guy telling me, who is he? I'm smarter than him. I'm thinking of these stupid little things in my mind. And then like after I was like, nah, this guy's so right. Like what he said. And, I personally have said it to other people and I still work on that till today, but in general, it's still, but that's an example.
You're not an interrupter at all.
It's just an example. So.
No, listen, I mean, like when I was working in the software job, my boss at the last company I was at before we started the business, she used to call me Tenacious D. That was my nickname because funny. I was so like type A, like whatever I wanted to get done, I would get done. And if people got in my way, I would run them over. And I was be like really like tough on people. Like, that's funny. And I learned to do it in like a corporate way. Like you don't harass someone, you don't curse them out, you don't use like slurs or anything, but like you just freaking lambaste them. Like, like you ever heard me like, that thing I'll do where like I'll start like interrogating someone and I'll like ask them questions and I'll back them into a corner with the questions. I do that. And I used to do that a lot. Yeah. And honestly, like that is kind of a little bit of thinking I was like the smartest guy. Like I have all the answers. I'm going to back this person into a corner. And honestly, people don't like that. And it turns them off and it turns them against you. And it makes it harder to get what you're trying to get done. It's Correct. Easier to get along. And sometimes it's better to take the high road. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. If you want to be the most successful, you just need to pay attention to what hits the freaking bank account on Friday and not be worried about what being the smartest person in the room.